Hey everybody, it's Robin from Roaming with Rover, and this is this week's update on our Lizzy Blanket. Look at this. Whoa, it's getting big, isn't it? It's really getting big. It is getting big. It's growing nicely. Okay, growing nicely. So how much did we do this week? We did a lot. We did a lot this week. This is the entire 30 row section, and we did this much this week. So 15 more rows, 15 rows every week. Are you guys doing okay keeping up with the 15 rows? I'm finding that it's pretty easy to do, and you guys know that I'm doing quite a few other things always at the same time. So, but I'm not having any problems at all keeping up with the 15 rows per week that we're doing. So what we did is we just did the second half of Kitty. So Kitty is done now, and so now we're going to be moving on to Lydia. And we're going to do the same as always with Lydia. Lydia has 30 rows, just like all the other ones did, and we're going to break that in half, so each week is only 15 rows. And again, don't worry about all of this, all of the ends. That's all going to disappear when we work on the edging, which isn't that far away. Basically 2 more weeks and we start on the edging. This has really gone fast. I think this has been a great project. It has been easy to do, but at the same time, we're learning some new stitches and really, really interesting things in here. So just enough to keep it interesting, but not so hard that we can't keep up with it. That's what I like. That's really what I'm liking the best about it. Now, as always, I'm going to attach the video from Anja from Ophelia Talks. I will have that down in the description. There will be the section of the pattern, the free pattern for the next section of the blanket for the Lydia section. So just like always, that's going to be down below. And just like always, I'm going to suggest that you watch the video first. They're not very long, and they're so pretty. They're so well done. Watch the video first before you start working on the blanket. She will explain the different stitches and maybe even more importantly, how to connect from row to row. So you've got a specialty stitch here, and then she explains on the next row how to connect it to that row so that it works out well. There is one error in this video. It is not, there's not the error in the pattern, but in her video she misspeaks, and she will be doing a half double crochet on the first row. It's a half double crochet, and she does a half double crochet, but she says a double crochet. So be aware of that. And you know, I'm just wondering if it isn't because, you know, when they use, I think it's England, they call things differently than what we do by American. So a half double crochet could be a double crochet. I don't know. I'm guessing here, but that, you know, things happen. People misspeak. No big deal. And she does point that out in the pattern. So we want to be aware of that. So she says double crochet, but the instructions will say half double crochet. Will it make a difference if you do a double crochet? Absolutely not. Nobody would even know except for you. So if you've already done it, you're following the instructions, and that's great. But if you don't have the pattern and you're just following her video and she says double crochet, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's the cool thing about this process. Even though it's a gorgeous pattern, and even though, you know, there's a different thing on every row, it's not going to make any difference at all. None at all. So don't stress out about it if you end up doing the double crochet. Doesn't matter. So this week, just like always, we're going to do the 15 rows that are the first half of Lydia. And again, she will say we're going to do that in 1 week, but we're not. We are doing it in 2 weeks. When she did her crochet along, she had you guys go a little faster than what we're doing. I knew when I started this that I couldn't do 30 rows in a week. So there was just no possible way that I would expect you guys to do that either. Again, I'm loving the pictures you guys are sending in. I am loving all of the different colors, the color combinations that you've come up with. I think they're wonderful. And I think this particular blanket really lends itself to doing all different kinds of color combinations, or even a single color, whatever you want. This is kind of a great stash buster if that's something that you've got going on and you've got a lot of yarn you need to use up. Speaking of using up yarn, I was wondering, if you recall last week, I was wondering where we were on the yarn. And like I said, we are nearly finished with that. We have one more section, Lydia, and then the binding. But so for us, that's 2 more weeks. And I just grabbed randomly 4 or 5 colors and weighed them. And almost every one of them, so these were 100-gram balls to start with. Let me double check that. Yes, 100-gram balls. And every one that I weighed came in right about halfway. 50 grams, 53 grams, 57 grams. I think one of them was 61 grams. So at this point, with 2 more sections, well, 1 more official section, Lydia, with 30 more rows to go, I am at about the halfway point on each one of my colors. I absolutely could have used the larger hook and it would not have been a problem, but I did not want to take a chance because I did not know how it was going to work out. And it's plenty big enough. And again, when I'm doing the edging, I can go as many rounds as I want around it to make it larger if I decide that that is what I want to do. But right now, I am just about at the halfway point on every one of the colors. And again, I just randomly grabbed 5 or 6 colors and weighed them. And that's the way that they came out. So roughly halfway with my colors, with my yarn, and we have one 30-row section left. Here we go. This is a 30-row section from right here to right here. One 30-row section left to crochet. So we've done all of these and used just about half of the yarn that was in the kit. Now I do remember her saying when we get to doing the edging, let me see if I can find it real quick, but I thought she said in the edging to choose the colors that you had the most of left over. See if I can do this real quick. Yep, we're going to use the colors that we have the most left over of, apart from the 1 row where she opted for an inconspicuous color. So you're going to pick what colors you want to do that outside edge with. So kind of be thinking about that as you're, especially if you're doing your own colors, maybe ending with a color that is going to be a nice contrast to the beginning. So that first row around, she says to use an inconspicuous color. And I think that's so that as we're picking it up, you don't see it so much. And then, so I'll probably end up using either the cream or the parchment in mine. Just guessing, I'm not to that point yet. And then after that, I'll just take a look at my colors and see what I've got left and see what's going to look good. But I do know that if I want to make it larger, I'm just going to add more rounds on the edging. I don't know offhand how many rounds she has. Probably if I looked close at the video, I could figure out. But she is saying here that she's using sage, storm blue, parchment, and Lincoln. So she's got 4 colors that she's using, plus the one that she used as her slip stitch all the way around. Okay, that's where we're at. We have 2 more weeks, this week and next week, of the actual in pattern process. Then we're going to start working on the outside edge. Please continue to send me your pictures so I can see how you guys are coming along. I really am enjoying those. I love the comments down below of things that are happening. And again, I do my best to answer any and all questions as they come up. Let me know. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know. Thank you so very much for joining us. And we'll see you next week. So again, we're starting Lydia week 1, the first 15 rows of Lydia. Thank you. Bye-bye.